Peer pressure is a terrible thing. Pity the poor 2D football game. Due out by its big 3D mates, beaten up in the school playground, and victim of hate mail from football fans, tired of only ever seeing the top of their hero's head. Well, it seems that pressure's got a bit too much for the kickoff series, and Anko have finally thrown in the towel and joined the jostling throng of polygons. To make the transition easier, David Seaman, Patrick Vieira, and Ian Wright have lent their limbs to their motion capture camera. They are joined by Johnny Jim Rosenhall, who is at hand to voice over the ongoing football action. Kickoff 97 features a grand total of over 300 teams, all waiting to see if this particular old dog can truly cut today's multi-camera mustard. God blimey, Governor, how many footy games are there going to be? I reckon around 6 to carry it 3,436,942. 43, I've just thought of another one. Okay, cricket, however, is an entirely different matter. Apart from Pinocchio the game, there haven't been too many mentions contained within their pixelated exploits. But now, from Electronics Arts Australia, comes Richie Benno and Cricket 97. Oh, and there's also a downloadable demo review just for you. Despite its persisting image of a gentle and pastoral sport, some people take cricket very seriously, especially the Australians. So it's unfortunate that you, the innocent gamer, has just landed in the middle of a match between the warring Antipodeans and those other cricket obsessives of West Indies. You've got around 10 seconds to master this demo's 18 different batting strokes before someone takes notice that you're not a cricketer after all, but one of those wet-nosed, puny-limbed gaming types, and skewers you with a stump. If you can avoid such an embarrassing end, then you can enjoy the match from a number of hand-picked camera angles, or even summon up the courage to advance up the game's 3 levels of difficulty. The full release version of Cricket 97 will feature a team designer, where you can look up your own squad of psychopathic beer monsters, teach our gentle cousins down under a thing or two about the sport.
Do you remember Melbourne House? They were the software publishers in the early 80s that did Horace Goes Skiing. That was quite superb, actually.
I love that.
Melbourne House are back, and this time they're back as an EA affiliate. Electronic Arts, of course, because now they're doing EA Sports range of games. Cricket 97 is their first. Now, obviously, it's an Australian company, so they've chosen a specifically Australian sport to cover. Because cricket, although we invented it, is played by the Australians far, far better than we could ever imagine. And this is almost perfect. You even get Richie Benno, the Australian ex-batsman, to give you all the rundown. As cricket goes, obviously it's not only the fastest game on God's earth, but it is very, very playable. You get to bowl, you get to bat, you get to choose all the international teams. It's got that distinct stamp of EA Sports quality to it.
Now, I've always had very grave doubts about cricket on computers, and this has done absolutely nothing to dispel them, I'm sorry. I don't think cricket works on computers. It's not fast enough, it's not panoramic enough, it's not exciting enough. I mean, it's essentially going to be built as solid and boring game to begin with, so translating onto a console isn't going to work. I mean, Rick's right in the sense it reeks of Electronic Arts finesse and professional touch. It's very thorough, it's very comprehensive, it's got every feature known to man that you could watch in a cricket game, but it's still deathly dull. Sorry.
The hydrofoil is the ultimate aquatic weapon of war, not least because your enemies are usually far too busy arguing about what a hydrofoil actually is to notice you sneaking up on them with your finger on the trigger. However, this particular hydrofoil is a pretty powerful beast in its own right. When sliding menacingly over the surf, it can fend off attackers with missiles and cannons. Once submerged, however, you're gonna have to break out the torpedoes. If you're in a particularly destructive mood, then look no further than the phased plasma repeater, proud owner of possibly the most ridiculous name in advanced weaponry. By now, you've probably worked out that this game is a shoot-'em-up, and a frantic one at that. Dastardly enemies come in the form of gunboats, battle cruisers, and even helicopters, most of which hover on the horizon, hoping you're not going to break out that phased plasma thing they've all been hearing so very much about.
Now, I was really excited when I found out I was going to be reviewing a game called Tiger Shark, because basically it's kind of like one of those classic vertical shoot 'em ups in the vein of 1941, in the vein of Flying Shark, all the greats, and they're still incredibly popular in Japan now. Unfortunately, it's not one of those, but it's still pretty good. Nice 3D shoot 'em up, viewed from behind, in a hydrofoil. Have no idea what a hydrofoil is, sorry, but it's pretty
Is it
entertaining.
like Baco foil?
It's like Baker Foil, only with a very large gun clamped on the front. So entertainment in your kitchen, it's not bad, it's free, give it a go, Rick.
Yeah, I actually liked it. I mean, it was free only because it was free. I'm not sure about the full releasable product though, because it will drag. I can understand that. But as a shoot 'em up goes, it's very pleasant and it works brilliantly. So I'd download it certainly.
Now, folks, if you're wondering where we download all our demos from, well, it's none of your business, mister. Oh, all right, I've been told I have to tell you. You can try tuning in to the Games World internet site at www.computerchannel.co.uk. You can download all the demos we've used today, plus you can even have a chit-chat with some of the Games World team, and who knows, maybe even myself. That is, if I can get old Will Hanrahan off the keyboard. He hogs it, he does. Never mind. And there are also loads of other sites available where you can get downloadable hints and demos. They're apparently the most important use for the internet. Although it's also used to save school children's lives or something like that. But let's face it, this show isn't Casualty. I ask you, do I look like Charlie to you? Well, do I? Do I? Well, stop shouting at me down the street then. Sorry folks, it's my problem, I'll deal with it. Here's one of the better sites that's popped up recently.
Recently we've had an awful lot of letters asking us where we research all our information that you currently see on Games World. And since it's an internet night, we might as well let you into a secret. We don't just throw Games World together, you know. We intricately research it every single day, and we use a site called GameSpot to help us do it. GameSpot, you see, has all the hottest news and reviews directly from the States, which is generally where all the games come out in the first place. The site itself is a cornucopia of information. For instance, there is a whole section just dedicated to the Nintendo 64, and seeing as that's the hottest news at the moment, it's well worth browsing. Especially considering as it gives you the hottest and latest reviews of all the products available. Don't forget, we don't have that many in Britain at the moment, but everything's currently available in the States, so you will find out that much more about things coming up in the future. I mean, for instance, when we last went onto GameSpot, we even found about a price drop of the N64. Now, hopefully Nintendo will take note. So if you really want a sweaty mass of information coming down your way, then I would advise tuning into www.gamespot.com. We're guaranteed that we do.
Woo! Now, we at Games World may be faster than a pair of Linford Christie's underpants, but we still have time to deliver you from games hell, or at least the Tips Bouncer will. If you'd like to ask the Tips Bouncer a cheat in person, then please write to us at the address we'll give you at the end of the show, or